Hello and welcome to College Cash. This is the podcast all about keeping money in your pocket on your educational journey. And here to guide you is me, Muddy Michelle. I'm navigating you to nuggets of information, hopefully worth thousands of dollars. So thank you so very much for joining us today. We are all excited to really talk today about mindset. Now, as promised, every single show, we do go through our Fantastic Five, and I will then introduce you to our amazing guest, the Satterfields. But first, you all may be wondering, what the heck is a Fantastic Five? I don't want anybody leaving this show ever to not know exactly the 5 steps they need to be able to apply for college. So the first step that we always talk about is finding a fee waiver, because there are so many things out there that are for free. So the first F, fee waiver. I'm going to run through them real quick, and then that way we can get to all the goodies y'all got to talk to. Second step, filling out the Common App. So you get your fee waiver, you fill out your Common App. Third thing that you're always going to do is forward your test scores. I still got kids who still haven't sent their test scores. They're like, yeah, I'm going to take the test. And I say, well, where are you sending it to? Well, I'm not sending it to... How the test going to get to the school if you don't send the school?
Problem.
Fee waiver. Fill out the Common App. Push submit. I got some people don't push submit.
They don't push the submit
Yeah,
button.
no, they don't put. So push the submit button. All right. Fee waiver. Fill out the Common App. Forward your test scores. Fourth thing, find your counselor, because your counselor has to send your transcripts. They don't just magically show up to the school. You have to find your counselor. Every single school in America is different on how they send transcripts to colleges. So I don't even try to touch that. I just say find your counselor. The most important thing, FAFSA, FAFSA, FAFSA. And you may be thinking, well, it didn't open. That is correct. The FAFSA has not opened yet, and we will be doing full shows on that in January. But I will say, I did learn that it is okay to fill out your FSA ID. So go ahead. You can, of course, you can Google FAFSA. You can find out how to fill out your FSA ID so that you can be ready for when the FAFSA opens in January. Okay, now that I have my Fantastic Five out the way, I want to introduce my Fantastic Two for today. I have Miss Tabitha and Tarico Satterfield.
What's
now,
going on?
I know you're going to introduce your wife, so I'm going to let
Absolutely.
you do the honors of that yourself.
Absolutely. First of all, y'all, it's such an honor to be here with Money Michelle. I know y'all been enjoying Money Michelle. And listen, those 5 that you gave out as someone who works at a college, you know, I remind people, all those things that you talked about, a lot of people don't know to explore their education. Most people seek to be educated but don't explore the things that they can benefit from to get educated. And there's a lot of resources and services out there that will benefit you, but you gotta put in the work. Y'all make sure y'all listen in to those 5. Don't miss out on the 5 that she just gave to you, because it's a benefit to your future, but you gotta start right now. And some of y'all, you done waited too long already. Press the submit button, man.
There's a little rough out there for some folks.
Press
But I
that
look at it
submit
like
button.
this. For community colleges, as long as you can cross that stage, it is never too late to
Absolutely.
go to community colleges.
Absolutely. It's
you know,
never
I
too
talk
late.
about those 5 steps. If it's a community college, they might not be on the Common App, but you can find your community colleges. And it's all about making sure people understand what the steps are. This does not have to be some huge, complicated, convoluted, I need to pay $4,000.
That's right.
So it's really just 5 things.
5 things.
It really is. It's really
5.
once you know kind of which school you want to go to.
Yeah, put together your top 5 list. Just
Yeah,
off roll.
5 for 5.
5 for 5. 5 for 5. 4 for 4, 5 for 5. Money Michelle's 5 for 5. There it is.
Oh, yeah,
There it is. Money Michelle's 5 for 5.
there we go.
But
Okay,
listen.
so what are y'all here for
So,
today?
listen, you know, first of all, anybody who knows anything about marriage, you know that we as men, we don't do it by ourselves. As much as I'm a great man, but I'm a better man because of the woman sitting next to me, my wife, my bride. Y'all, she a diamond, not in the rough, but she's a diamond that I elevate above all the rest. This is my baby, y'all, Tabitha, the Tabitha Marie Satterfield. Y'all, this is my wife. Y'all give it up for my wife.
Hello,
Come on now.
everybody.
Give it up for her, y'all.
I wasn't even going to attempt to try to introduce you.
What?
Heard the introductions that your husband gives.
Oh,
and it
man.
is, and it is so
Amazing.
well deserved too.
Thank you.
When I hear your story, it is just so inspirational, and I understand every single time I hear it why he goes through the links that he goes through to introduce you.
Thank you.
Now, do you want to introduce him? Oh,
It's hard to follow. Because he really is.
well,
the
we'll let
speaker
you
for us.
introduce the business then. How about that?
Go ahead, babe.
Oh my goodness, Tabitha. Really?
So she like this what I love about my wife is because she plays so shy, right? I always tell everybody that Tabitha is a silent assassin. Like, so when she does speak, it literally hits the mark for me every time. So even when we met and we started to build life together, everything my wife speaks, everything that she says, when she says, babe, I think we should move in this direction, I've learned to kind of lean in because sometimes I like have these ideas and my ideas are so broad and wide. She kind of like has this laser focus and like, no, we should do this.
She gives you your 5
Come on,
steps.
she give me them steps.
There you
Right,
go.
them
All
5.
the steps.
There you go. Now, she just said she was up until 1 o'clock in the morning working
Yes.
on the
Listen,
business.
while I'm
So-
trying to go to bed.
Yes.
I'm trying to go to bed.
Well, somebody tell me what the business is.
Yes, absolutely, y'all. So we are the founders and CEOs of Exposure Ventures. And what our goal is what we're doing with Exposure Ventures is something that's never been done. Let me say it again. We're doing something that's never been done. Why? Because we see the value in people as capital. I'm going to say that again. We see the value as people as capital. I think so many times we think about creating a product when it comes to business. We think about real estate when it comes to business, but I think we're devaluing people. And when we start to value people as capital, then you understand that relationships have currency. Like there's a currency in this.
Exactly. And as I was driving in today, I was really thinking through the fact that you all are in the business of encouragement.
Absolutely.
And when you have your human capital
That's
that
right.
you are able to inspire and encourage, we all can benefit.
Everybody get to benefit. You know, Tabitha and I, we talk about this all the time. There's this interesting scripture in the Word that says your gift makes room for you and bring you before great men. So I'm a firm believer that a lot of people are not brought before the people that they need to be before because they haven't tapped into their gift. So if I find myself in a place that is not where I need to be in my life, then it's probably I'm utilizing something else that's not my gift. But once I find my gift brought me to Money Michelle. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you,
I'm just
Michelle is
saying.
happy that you have
Come
found
on,
your
man.
gift and found me and that we found each other.
Yes.
But I really want people to understand. I talk about you all being able to encourage, being able to help change people's minds, getting their mindsets ready for college or ready
Yeah.
for whatever their next step is. Because I really can talk up here all day long about the 5 steps, about colleges, about going here, going there. But there's so many of you out there, it's not in your mind. And that is one of the most fearful things that I have.
Yeah.
It brings me to tears when I see people who have all the opportunity in the world but no hope. They don't think they can do it. They simply say no before they've even asked what the question is.
Wow.
I haven't even told you what I want you to do. And you already said in your mind, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not good at that. Please help me help these people on how to change their mindset.
So listen, I'm just saying, I live off of this idea that no for me means next opportunity.
O-N-O.
Yes.
Listen,
That's neat.
so if you want to simplify for everybody that's listening, all you need to do is change your definition of what no means.
Next opportunity.
No means next opportunity. So I'm not afraid on knocking on the door if you tell me no, because I know that that's not my door. Next opportunity.
What about I can't? Is it maybe I can't yet?
So I don't live off of the word I can't.
Good.
Right? Because I can't literally begin. Anytime you try to add that apostrophe with the T at the end of it, then it starts to change. Your I can starts to transition and become something that you literally become a barrier to yourself. It's not people being a barrier to you. It's now you've put the barrier up in your own head and
Yes.
say, I can't. When you start to say things, you will see what you say. And so if you say I can't, it's not because people won't let you.
It's because you won't let your
It's
own
because you
mind
won't let you.
Or how can I?
Ooh, that's
How
good,
can I
baby.
do that? How can I make this happen? And kind of change your perspective instead of looking at it from
Ooh,
the
I like that.
perspective of no. How can I make this a yes?
Woo! I like that, honey.
Now, you all are hearing these amazing ideas and amazing ways to change your mind, but I want you to understand the amazing training that you all have to bring people to where they need to be. So tell me a little bit more on how you got started.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Alabama, Roll Tide. You already know. I gotta say it. I know I'm in
say it.
Florida.
Go ahead,
Look,
say that.
I know-
HBCU. Go ahead, say it.
Stillman College. Shout out to
There we
my
go, there we go.
HBCU. Them Tigers in Alabama. You know how we do. But listen, I started in Jasper, Alabama. That's my home. That's home. And rooted and grounded in this foundation with my family. I was raised in poverty, to be honest with you. I was raised in poverty in this family that had a lot of love. It's interesting that I'm talking about human capital because what I grew up around was a family who was loving on each other. We ain't have a lot,
Because you had love.
but we had each other. When I tell you my grandfather would sit us all down at the table, and I'm talking about the family. My grandfather had 9 children.
That's a lot.
9. When
Now
we
you
would
have
all
9 chairs.
listen. 9 chairs. We didn't even have 9 chairs right at the table, but he had 9 children, and so all of us there at the house, we lived in like this circle in our community, all his kids, and so we grew up. All of us as first cousins, about 30 of us. It's about 35 of us. We still, my wife would tell you, on our call in the morning, it's like it goes up to about 20 max of us that come on this call, but that ain't even close to everybody. When I go home, my mom does a cookout. I'm talking about this because this is what is essential for me in building life. Life is built by the relationships that you connect to you. I tell people what we do with blind spots, our training that we do for people. We do a blind spots training. We tell people the blind spots you have probably exist in your life because you refuse to listen to people of value that are in your life. There were so many people that tried to say, Tarico, here's an area that you need to look at, pay attention to. And I had a blind spot to it, and I didn't honor their voice. And when you don't honor the voice of somebody who values you, then you start honoring the voice of those who don't value you,
Right.
which
right.
literally creates a blind spot that limits you from ascending and going into the direction of your greatness. Many people are not experiencing greatness, Money Michelle, because they got a blind spot.
And they're just not listening. My
You-
mom is a substitute teacher, and yesterday, and I love it when she does this. Kids probably don't, but if you are misbehaving, and she's just a substitute, but she's taught for 40 years. I mean, just touched so many lives, including obviously my own. But she said to this little boy, he was doing who knows what. She said, "Get your phone out, call your mama,
Ooh,
or call somebody who loves you
call somebody who love you.
right now."
Ooh,
Because people love these kids.
That's
It's
right.
Somebody in your
loves you.
life. And even if you are sitting there and you're thinking, no, there's not. I'm a foster child, or my parents have died, or this or that has happened. There are still resources out there that will give you guidance that
Absolutely.
you need. It's all about getting that mind right and being receptive
that's right.
to the resources that are available to you.
Absolutely.
I worked with some foster kids a while back, and you talk about they have free education. They have an opportunity. If you're a foster child, or if you're in a program dealing with homelessness, and not necessarily like you're homeless on a park bench, but perhaps your family is living with relatives, or you're living, you don't have stable living.
Yeah.
You can go to college for free.
Come on now.
For free, but you have to be open.
You got to be open
to
to
the
it.
information.
Ooh.
Okay, I done got all of that.
Ooh,
I'm
that's
sorry,
good.
sorry.
No, because what you said is being open to information. Tabitha and I can tell you that, although we had hardship in the beginning of our lives, what transformed our lives was us starting to be open to information.
Yes.
There's some things that we're not open to about ourselves that is the treasure. And the very thing that sometimes you're not open to about yourself literally is the gateway to the information that is literally takes you from where you are to where you want to go.
Now, let me tap into this for just a second. And this may be for my own little personal reasons, for that little person.
Yeah.
That's my little assistant producer sitting out there. I don't know if she can hear me or not. But there are some, we talked about the
Yeah.
one group of people, but then there are some people who aren't open to being praised. And as soon as someone may say something good, they instantly want to attack it and say something bad about themselves. When they know they're talented, they know they're smart, they know they can go a long way, but why is it that when someone says something good, you want to say something negative? Because there's those folks out there too who
That's
you're
right.
very successful. You know you got it going on, but accept the praise. Oh, looks like we're taking a break. Bezel does this. It's hilarious to me. We are getting ready to go on break, but we will be right back. And we're going to, of course, talk more about your mindset, accepting the praise, and getting yourself together to go to college.
In Touch Radio, the most loved station across the nation. In Touch Radio. Tell a friend. In Touch Radio.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy stay by. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Now 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Hello and welcome back to College Cast. I'm your host, Money Michelle, always about navigating you to nuggets of information worth thousands of dollars. Today, I have two fantastic people here with me to help get your mindset. Now, before the break, mindset correct. Before the break, we were talking about those students out there who they're good students, they know where they're going, they know what they want to do, but for some reason, if someone gives them praise, they instantly have something negative to say, like, oh, no, or oh, no. How can we help, especially girls, it seems like, have this problem where they always want to, if someone says something good, they want to say something bad about themselves. Miss Tabitha. So this is why we're going to make you answer this one, because this was what Tarika wanted. Tabitha. Wow. How do we work to change women's and girls' mindsets about being able to accept praise? And why is that important, especially when it comes to negotiating and getting what you're worth?
Yeah, that's a very tough one, because I know, even from my own personal experience, and something that I struggle with, and I know that a lot of girls struggle with, is your self-worth, your value. And so if someone is rejecting something positive, it's because something negative was spoken to them. It was because of a seed that's there that hasn't been uprooted in them. And that all goes to about how you change your mind, how you change your thinking about yourself. And for my own personal story, it was something that I struggled with for many, many years through my adulthood, because growing up, I was in a loving family. And that's what I knew. I knew love. We did everything together. We were all about gatherings and seeing our aunts and uncles, grandparents. So I did see a lot of love. But then when my parents split, it was the first time I saw dysfunction. It was the first time that I saw lack. And so because I didn't have my mind right, even though I wanted positive things to happen, it was very hard to accept that, because I didn't have my focus right. I couldn't grasp what was happening. My whole life had changed. And I went from, having everything that I needed to not having anything at all, and being homeless and having children out of high school. And it was because I was lacking. It was a void in my life that I was lacking from my own parents. And so what I had to do was, for me, it was more so focusing on God, on prayer, and on speaking to myself in a way that nobody else was speaking to me. Because sometimes we don't get the support that we think that we need to get from our family. Sometimes it doesn't come from our family. My family at that time had told me that, where is the value in me with no job, no money, no resources? How are you going to take care of a child? How are you going to support this child? You need to do this path instead. You need to give your child up. And so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, do my best to raise the child. There was a lot of pressure on me. And so for a very long time, what we tend to do is, especially as parents, as a mother, a single mother, you tend to put aside your feelings, your emotions, because you're in survival mode. You're trying to raise your children. You're trying to take care of them. And what I had to do, and what completely stopped that for me and changing my mindset, was it was a realization for me that I needed to do something different. I needed to make different decisions. Everything that we do, every decision that we make, is because of something that we thought. So if we're making self-destructive decisions, it's because we have self-destructive thoughts. And so I didn't want to continue to go down this path. I was having all kinds of emotions. I was dealing with all kinds of things in my life where it caused me to physically not be able to move. And so in the work that we do, when we're speaking to students, I never want to see a student, I never want to see anyone go down this path to the point to where you physically break down, because you haven't dealt with your mind, you haven't dealt with your emotions, and then you're on a self-destructive path.
Wow.
So this is what we do. We want to help you. We want to mentor you through those difficult conversations, those difficult things that you may not be able to talk to your parents about, or that you may not be able to say or know how to express. We want to be there to help you to do that, so that you can be successful in when you're applying for applications? What's stopping you from doing that? What's your mindset?
Come
what are
on,
you
baby.
thinking about yourself?
You see what I'm
What's
talking
making
about?
you procrastinate? Because some people, so many students are just stuck.
Yes.
Stuck.
They have the whole. I worked with one. It was my cousin. He and his dad was just so thinking that his son hadn't done anything, and I just happened to come into town, and once his dad was like right here, and I was like, bye. And so once I started talking to my cousin, he had everything. His essay was done. He knew about the Common App. He knew where he wanted to go to. Everything was done, but he hadn't put it in the box and wrapped the bow. He just
Wow.
had pieces all over here. It's like, okay, we got the pieces. Let's finish the puzzle.
Yes.
He was stuck.
And
there's
that's the
so
blind
many
spot.
kids out there that are just stuck.
Right.
Yes, or the piece when what I like to think about on the blind spot is, and we have all said this or heard someone say this, if I would have known now what I could have done differently than back then,
Right.
you know, and so we would have done things differently if we would have had the knowledge that we do have right now. If I could do it over again, I would do this differently.
Right.
That's the gap that we're talking about. For people, we want to give them the tools, the resources, the knowledge so that they don't look back and say, oh, if I had only known it back then, I would have made a different decision.
Now, with you all standing in this gap and giving people these resources, how are you doing that? And we've mentioned your business. How are you and your business? How do y'all do this?
Yeah, so thank you so much for asking that. It's a great question. So when it comes to doing this, we do coaching sessions, right? So I'm a life coach, and what we do is literally meet with people in one-on-one meetings. We also do group sessions where you can literally come into a workshop. We got a workshop coming up on December 23rd. December 23rd, that's online. We made it virtual so anybody could come and attend virtually this Blind Spots leadership workshop, because we believe that if you learn how to lead yourself well,
Yes.
then you can lead life well.
And you certainly can't
Right.
be speaking self-destructive thoughts and be a good leader for yourself.
You can't. Leadership has this. There's a beautiful thing. If you look at the word of leadership, leadership has lead at the beginning, which is heavy, right? It has lead at the beginning, and then there's this ship at the end, which means that it's a journey, that you're traveling somewhere. So you have to understand that the urgency that you need in your now is because this is a heavy thing to take care of your life, right? Who you are as a person, you've got to be invested in the journey of your life. And that is done by the decisions that you make on a daily basis. My wife talked about the thoughts that you continuously have. We sit down and we break those thoughts down. I meet with young men, professional young men, and it's funny how many men do not have core values written down. Because they have no core values, then they are going in all different kinds of directions. And
Okay, so let me stop you there for our listeners who they hear the word core value, and
Yeah.
that sounds good. What is a core value? Could be a question that somebody out there has.
Absolutely, that's a great question
Give
as
me
well.
5.
Give you 5 core values: patience, right? Integrity, faithfulness. Are you a builder, right? Are you honest,
Right.
right? And you have to get yourself down to this. There are thousands of words that could be essential to the core. When we say core value, I want you to think about an apple,
Okay.
because everybody knows an apple, and the center of an apple we call the what?
Core,
The core. Well, what's in the core of the apple?
the seed.
The seed. And so, oh man, you can't even do this. So at the seed level of who you are, that core level, there is something in you that's meant to grow.
Okay.
There's something meant to
now
grow.
I see why it's called core.
That's why it's called a
values,
core.
because the seed is in there that can help lead you, help give you the growth, help get you to the next point.
And if you plant the seed in the right atmosphere, right environment, then it produces what?
Fruit.
Fruit, more apples, right, which nourish you. So many people haven't planted themselves in the right their core in the right environment for the seeds to grow.
But now, okay, I'm not in the right environment. Everyone around me is rotten to the core.
Absolutely.
Now what?
That's why you need to sign up for Blind Spots. you gotta get your seed in the right corn, right?
All right, and it's December 23rd. Let's just make sure we get this in. How do they sign up?
You can
how
go.
do I?
I love that. I love that.
Honest. Don't let me leave without my ticket.
Listen, so you have to go to exposureventures.com, right? You can go over to exposureventures.com. On the website, you see how to book an appointment with me. You book that appointment, we're going to send you out a message that literally allows you to be signed up and registered for it. Exposure with an X, that's not with an E, XPOSURE Ventures.com.
Yes.
ExposureVentures.com, and you'll find us. We'll get you the information so that you're there. We'll send you the Zoom link, but you
Yes.
do have to register.
Yeah, you click on the Work With Us tab.
Work with us. Work with us.
And I always have to ask the cost. How much is this?
Yo, we made this thing so affordable because the one thing that we don't want our services to do to make people feel like they can't. I can't afford that.
Right.
Y'all, for $97. That's it. 97. And let me say this. When you if you look at a money amount, $97, and you say, I can't afford that, I need you to understand you're saying that about yourself.
Because I need you to know you just spent $97 on your nails.
I need you to understand
So if you're spending $97 on your nails, that means you can spend $97 on yourself.
On yourself, your core.
On something that gets that seed and that right environment.
Yes.
So tell me about this. So when you sign up for you register, it's $97. You have the Zoom. What else are we doing?
So when we get in this thing, we're going to do some personal reflection time because this thing is about you. It's actually, you're not coming for me. I'm making you sit down and you're going to look at you. We're going to do some personal reflection. We're going to also have some interactive sessions and lessons where you guys will be interacting with each other because remember, you can't see your own blind spot.
That's why it's called a blind spot.
Right? So in order for you to understand the value of human capital, is why we do the business we do. In order for you to understand the value of human capital, then you have to understand that you need people, right? You can't, I know there are people that's like, I can do it all by myself. Well, guess what? Let me know how that was working out for you.
Exactly, because if you only are dealing with yourself, you're only dealing with what's inside of your own mind.
Ooh.
There are so many more ideas
Ooh.
out there. That's why collaboration is
Come on.
done so well. Some of the best leaders, the first thing they do is surround themselves by people who don't know what they know.
Absolutely.
They want to have different people around them that can bring knowledge to the table for themselves. Isn't that one of the best
Listen.
signs of a leader?
Listen, Michelle, it took friendships and relationships. They also helped you fail. I tell people all the time, your haters are never the people that are actually telling you, hey, sneak out your mama's house. Your haters ain't coming to your house talking about, hey, let's go to this party.
It's your friends.
It's your friends. It's the relationships you got. You're investing in relationships with people that you have labeled as friends, and those friends are actually helping you fail.
And there's a lot of that going on. There's those friends who, you're making me think of this other
They'll
little
go a
girl.
blind spot.
They're telling you, well, you don't have to really apply now. Those applications aren't due until January. You can do that after Christmas.
Don't listen to Money Michelle. What?
So I got a whole degree in communications. I do this for a living.
Ooh.
But you don't want to take the November 1st
Ooh.
deadline seriously. How? Why? How?
Ooh,
'Cause
you
you
at
got a
the
blind
core.
spot.
Listen to what you're saying. You're saying you got a blind spot. I'm trying to eliminate the blind spot, get you down to the core so that your seed, so that you can bear some fruit in your life. All you got to do is hear.
Here.
There's an ear there for you to hear. There's an ear in the middle of your heart. You know my thing. In the middle of your heart, there's an ear there for you to hear, and that becomes the art, the canvas at which you live your life. If you don't recognize that, that ear is dictated by those first two letters, H-E, he. Who is the person that literally is speaking to your heart? You give somebody access to your heart, then they got access to your future.
And that's why we need to make sure that access, what you're giving to people, that they're giving you good things
Come
back.
on.
And that's one of the main reasons why I have the Satterfields on College Cash. I know normally you're used to me talking about scholarships and Common App and the correct way to do things and all the deadlines, but I've learned, like I said earlier, I can do that till I'm blue in the face. Until you get your mind right, none of us are
You
going
can't get your
anywhere.
money right.
There you go.
Until you get your mind right, you can't get your money right. I'm just saying, that's a blind spot.
I like that as well. And speaking of our money, we got to make sure we get our sponsors in. So it looks like we're getting ready to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the seminar that's coming up on December 23rd and why it's so important for you to get involved.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
It's a beautiful day.
This is Daryl Johnson.
And Tampa Bay Tammy.
Wishing all our listeners all over the world
Happy holidays.
happy holidays.
Happy holidays to
From In Touch News.
And radio.
Hello and welcome back to College Cash. I am Money Michelle, all about navigating you to nuggets of information worth thousands of dollars. Today, we are navigating through your mind and how to get your mind right. Here to help us, of course, we have Miss Tabitha and Tarico Satterfield with Exposure Ventures. And that's what they need to go to in order to go to that December 23rd seminar.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it, man. My wife, babe, tell them about kind of how Blind Spots came to be.
Oh, yeah. So we were actually out in our community, and we actually ended up speaking to a couple of ladies that were out at the pool area, and they were talking about relationships. They were talking about some of the challenges that they were having in their relationships. And just from talking with them and kind of giving them some insight, especially from a male perspective. A lot of the times when we as women are trying to figure out our relationships, we're talking to other women.
That's not good.
And that's not good. And so when you have a male perspective, it's a lot different and you see things differently. And so from that conversation came, hey, we would love to actually sit in on a class and learn more. Like they wanted to hear more about what was going on in their relationship. Well, why is this happening? Well, why does he do this? What's the behavior mean when he does this? So that's how it actually ended up starting. And we said we'd love to do it.
Yeah, so it started out like some women, honestly, who wanted to eliminate their own blind spots that they had.
Their relationships, in their relationships.
I'm talking about a group of married women that I'm sitting here having this conversation with her, and I'm helping this woman see it's not your husband, it's you.
It's always
right?
that. Right.
Right.
And I learned that, well, I'm not going to say early on, it took a few years. But I learned that if you want to stay in a relationship as a successful woman, as a woman of any type, it is incumbent upon you to look
Right.
within yourself to understand what needs to occur to make this work.
Yes.
And I learned that through Bible study. I learned that
Absolutely.
through, I attended BSF for years. I think that when I stopped working for Home Shopping Network with America Store closed, and my son was 2, and I started going to BSF. God has a sense of humor, because I love my children, but I ain't really into the little bitty kids. That really ain't my
Ain't
thing.
your thing.
And the lady asked me to be the teacher for the 2-year-olds. I'm like, but in that journey in my life, I learned so much about sacrifice and how it takes that as a wife
Yeah.
to be able to keep your family together. And is it fair? I don't know. Is it true? You tell me, Tabitha.
Is it
It is a lot of sacrifice that you do make, especially when, you know, you are called. For us scripturally, the foundation is I am his helpmeet. So how do I help him in the mission that God has called on his life? And so how do I add to him? How do I add value to what it is that God has called him to do? And so sometimes that means doing things that we may not necessarily want to do. It means taking on tasks that we wouldn't normally take on, but we're going to do it anyway because we're a unit, we're one. And if that's going to help to propel God's vision and mission forward, then that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do because I'm choosing to say yes.
Now, some people listening may be thinking, okay, we have gotten all off college. How did we get into this?
No.
But you all have so many gifts and talents. I really want everyone to understand what it is you have to offer to the community. You're new. I know that you mentioned that you all just moved here from where?
Sacramento, California.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
how long have you been in the Tampa Bay area?
So we've been here, what, 8 months, 6 months?
Yeah,
6
brand
months.
spanking new.
We're brand new.
I had to snatch them
Brand
up
new.
quick.
Brand new. And you got us too. Like when I tell you like to be here, so we're new to this area, but I'm actually from the South, born and raised. I'm a lifetime Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lifetime Tampa Bay. I ride with the Bucks all day, every day. So believe it or not, my godbrother played with the Bucks. He played on the offensive line. Kenyatta Walker won a Super Bowl with them.
Oh, wow.
And so, to be honest, I'm not new to Florida because I have 2 older children who live in Polk County, right, who live here. So my heart is still here in Florida. And the work that we do, for me, I told my wife, it's not hard for me to do this work because I have family and people that live here. I have an uncle who is a psychologist for over 30-something years at FAMU, Florida A&M University, and he's kind of world-renowned. His name is Joseph Baldwin, right? And so a lot of who I am and my heritage has been rooted from things here in Florida. And so it's not hard for me to give back to this community. The community has given to us, even just in our short time of being here. So just talking about college cash, though, I want to get it back to that you can't talk about college cash. I teach people this in the blind spots, that if you don't learn how to be wealthy within, then you won't find the money you need outside yourself. But
and getting that mindset prepared to be a wife
Absolutely.
or to be a husband. The whole thing about going to college is to be able to support yourself, to eventually be able to support a family.
Come on now.
And as the black family is disappearing in front of our eyes, I feel it incumbent upon to bring us back to that.
Absolutely. We got to start getting back connected to family. You know, when we think about us, we're a family of 10.
Yes.
We're a family of 10.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah, we're a family of 10. We got our own basketball team. We can
Y'all
start
do.
an NBA. We can start an NBA
What are the
franchise,
age
baby.
groups? What's the age ranges?
5 to
Oh my gosh.
5 to 28.
Yes. I have the oldest. We're a blended family, so I have the oldest.
My goodness.
Yes.
5 to
You all
28.
have had a lot of practice on several different lives in all the phases.
Yes, we have.
But this is why we can talk about blind spots holistically, Like when you look at it, so she can talk about it from being a female, right? Raising and a single mom,
Yes.
pregnant as a teenager,
Yes. Pregnant as a teenager.
4 children by the age of 22.
24.
Watch this. But bought her first house at 22.
So now we have a whole separate show. I just really give up on this whole entire outline because
They got to be in the blind spots. I'm telling you. They got to be in the blind spots because I'm telling you, until you get to a place, and this is for every listener listening to this, until you get to a place where you understand that your failures actually are not what they look like, your failures are literally the gateway to the wisdom that you need to give to the world. Many people look at their failures and so hung up on them. We're not hung up on our failures. We know that our failures are literally life lessons that we now go around and teach other people, hey, don't do that.
right, do this
Do
instead.
this.
Right.
Like
Yes.
I've seen what happens when you do this. So when you say, how can you lead people from your failures? How can you lead people with the right mindset? Because I know what the wrong one looks like.
Because you've been there.
I've been there. I've been there. And now I've been able to now turn my life over. And now I see the process that I had to go to get from failure to the future that I have now. Your failure has a lure. The word failure has a lure at the end, L-U-R-E. There's a lure at the end of failure. That is left up to you to determine whether you're going to go down the wide road or whether you're going to go down the narrow one. When you start narrowing your focus and go down the positive road, when you go in the positive direction and you narrow in on that, then you eliminate the blind spots.
You have so many analogies and letters. I want to just have like write this down. So I got N-O
Acronym.
is next opportunity. The failure, the lure is luring you to a better opportunity. The heart, we have the ear that allows you to listen inside of your heart. There's one more really good one.
And the art. The
Leadership.
Leadership.
The leadership.
Lead is heavy. It's heavy.
Lead is heavy, but that ship.
Is the journey. You got to take it
I
serious.
still didn't write them down. Somebody needs to remember.
It's like
this
a,
one.
but it's all of it is living in the now, right? All of it is living in the now. My wife will tell you that I'm big on, and we challenge each other to be present in the moment. That came from my great uncle is an original Tuskegee Airman, Cicero Satterfield, and what he said to me the very last time we had dinner before he passed away, he says, "Nephew, you're smart." He says, there is but one constant in life. And he talked like this for real, yo. Like, every time I meet with him, I'll be like, yo, are you like an encyclopedia? But those were his exact words. Nephew, there is but one constant in life. What is this constant? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, you went to college. You're brilliant. You do know. And I said, okay, change. And he says, how can change be constant? It's moving. And I said, okay, all right. I said, Uncle Cicero, you smarter than me. I don't know. I don't know.
I
And
thought
he
it was
said,
changed.
No, I
All
thought
right.
it was changed. That ain't
Okay.
the answer. He said it's now.
Okay.
I said, ooh.
It's always.
It's always now.
It's
It's
always
always
now.
now. He said, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So he says this, you must always open up the gift that you have in your now. Don't live in yesterday and don't live in tomorrow. Live and value your now. Most people do not value what they have now because they look at yesterday and say, this is how I got here. I should have did that. Most people look at the future and say, man, I can't, when I get over here, and look at how you're devaluing what you have. I can't look at my wife in the future. I need to look at her today and say, man, I love you. Man, you're beautiful. And what I pour into her now transform our future.
And I say for those of you who did miss that November 1st deadline, you can't worry about that anymore. You have to look at the now. The now in the college application process is getting your FSA ID
Get
done.
it in.
That is now.
Now.
Because when FAFSA opens up in January, everybody's saying December 31st. Don't even. Just January. Let's just go ahead and say.
No, just now.
Probably mid-January.
Right.
But for now, it's that FSA ID. Very,
right.
very easy to get to. That FSA ID, when you do that FAFSA, when you get that full Pell Grant, you will be able to pay completely for community college.
Come on now.
Or from trade schools. That is your, what I'm telling you now is your opportunity today to change
Come on.
your future.
Get on that computer now. Do it right now.
Yes.
Like, don't wait. It's so interesting hearing you say that because so many people, you know, I work for a college in admissions. I work in admissions for a college. And so the thing.
No, actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which one? I mean, you got 12,000
Yeah, listen.
I don't even know what to do today.
Because I seize my now life. I live, and I'm intentional with my living. So the college that I work for, I have admissions appointments every day. I meet with students, and I always tell students every single day, talking about FAFSA, listen, you don't need to wait to understand that you got money. You need to have a sense of urgency to find out what money you got, right? Because if you can get the money, if you get that money set in place, then you feel more confidently about going forward. If you don't have that money, then you know I got to take some action steps to get that money.
Right.
But if you don't do the work now, like you're saying, and you delay, then what's going to happen? You're going to delay your tomorrow.
Nothing.
For what?
So you understand the when they're talking about how millions of dollars of unclaimed scholarship money, it's really a lot of the grant money
It's
that
a
goes
lot of
unclaimed
grant money.
because you're not filling out the paperwork. I'm not even going to say it's going to take you an hour. It might take you an hour, but 1 hour to get potentially $7,000 to
Oh
go
my
towards your
gosh.
education.
Absolutely.
Isn't that 1 hour worth it? Or 1 hour to
my
fill out a
gosh.
scholarship application, even if it is for just $1,000? You're not making $1,000 an hour at your job.
Come on.
So spend that hour filling out some scholarship information.
Babe, I got to ask you to do this. I'm putting you on the spot right now. But Maddie, our friend Maddie, talk about when we first met her, college student, and her talking about how much money in scholarships that she had made and secured for herself. Do you remember that?
Don't remember the dollar amount.
So
No.
we have a young lady. She represents us in the business, but she has like 4 degrees. She's studying for her LSAT. She's 24, just turned 24.
Yes.
But what she told us when we met her was this. She said, I had made so much money in scholarship money that literally I didn't have to pay rent. She said I had gotten so many scholarships. She said I applied for over 300 scholarships. And she said I got so much money back that literally where she lives today, she's still living off the scholarship money. And she's
She made money off.
money off of this.
Right,
Yeah.
but our guest last weekend attends FSU. He's in the CARES program.
Okay.
And he talked about how, because he had a full scholarship with the CARES program, he also was able to get the Pell Grant. I think he had a couple other scholarships. He had the fortitude to start a business.
Come on.
I'm so proud of him.
Come on now.
I could talk about him forever.
Talk about
I'm proud of
core.
my child, too, in case he's listening.
Seed. Money Michelle's proud of you.
Most definitely. Robbie does have a full scholarship. He's
Shout out to Robbie. Shout out.
Has provincial acceptance to Meharry Medical School.
Come on, man. Harry?
You know, I have been so blessed to see so many young black males
Come on now.
doing so well.
Absolutely.
So well. So, but Ashton was on last week and he talked about it because in Florida they stack scholarships. Now, unfortunately, in Tennessee, they don't. But at some schools, at TSU,
some
they
schools.
don't. But anyway,
That's another
story.
conversation.
There we go. But at FSU And in your Florida schools, they stack scholarships. So that means if you get Bright Futures and you get your tuition paid, okay, there's your tuition paid. But then let's say you also get the Pell Grant, okay, well then there's a lot of your room and board paid. But then let's say you go through and you fill out the one application on Hillsborough Education Foundation website. That's going to give you an opportunity to apply for like over 100 scholarships with one application. And let's say you get some of those.
Yeah.
That's how people end up with enough money to start a business or to pay their rent. Now, some folks out there say, well, but that's not fair. Okay, well, do you know what it takes to get the Pell Grant? Do you know what type of an impoverished life you've had to live to be eligible for that Pell Grant? So that's what's not fair. So if you're able to get that money and stack it, don't ever let anybody tell you that's not fair.
Listen, scholarships are not put in place about it being fair or not fair. Scholarships and money is put in place for people to have opportunity.
Exactly.
And so we can't make this thing about fair or not fair because somebody's kid who is wealthy gets a scholarship to go and play in the band, right? Mm-hmm. Or somebody who is impoverished gets a scholarship to go and play in the band. So it's about creating the opportunity for you. That no, right? That somebody may have grown up with a lot of no's in their lifestyle. But that scholarship was, here's your next opportunity. Exactly. I remember being in high school and my mother saying to me, Money Michelle, she said, listen, I can't pay for you to go to school. So you need to think about what that's going to look like. Are you going to be a sports player? You going to play sports? Are you going to go to the military? Or are you going to go to college? What we doing? She's like, one thing is happening at 17, you got to go. Right? When you graduate, you got to go. So right then in that place, I had to think about, okay, what's the next opportunity for me to get out of Jasper, Alabama? Because the option is stay in Jasper or do something with my life to move my life. I didn't do well in school. Here's the other part. I didn't do well educationally in school, and so I had to figure out, like, oh, my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? How this going to happen? What ended up happening was I grew up singing in church. And come to find out, my uncle's brother was a president of a college, and they had a choir. And he was like, you're going to try out for this choir. So me and about 6 of us from my church went down to go try out for this choir, and I got a full ride to go to school to sing. I was like, oh, they give out money?
To sing. They give out money for the band. They give out money to sing. I have a cousin that went to school on a speech. She did debate and speaking opportunities. They give scholarships for that. There's so many different opportunities. You have a gift. God's given you a gift. So it's all about taking that gift, using that gift, and finding the connections.
What did I say? The first thing I said, that college cash is tied to that gift. Your gift makes room for you and brings you before great colleges.
So it looks like we are almost at the end of our hour, but I want to make sure that we have a couple of things that everyone understands. Who you are, how to find you, and what you do. But you only got 3 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna dial it up in 30 seconds. I'm Tarico, and my wife is Tabitha Satterfield. We are the CEO and founders of Exposure Ventures. You can find us at exposureventures.com. On Instagram, we're Tarico and Tabitha. If you want to find us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, Tarico and Tabitha. And then we have a podcast called Exposure Talks on Spotify. Exposure with an X. You can find us there. Send us a message. If you want to work with us, go to the website, click Work With Us. Money Michelle, it's so nice to be here with you. Thank you for having TNT in the building.
Oh, I'm so excited. I feel so blessed to have connected with you all, especially since you're brand new to the community, just got to Tampa Bay. So thank you for joining us here on College Cash. And in case you forgot all of that, just remember moneymichelle03@gmail. And I'll be sure to send you whatever information it is that you need that you learned about here on College Cash. Real quick, that Fantastic 5. First, find your fee waiver if you're able to get one. Second, fill out the Common App. Third, forward your test scores. Fourth, find your counselors to get your transcript sent. And the fifth thing, FAFSA. Get that FSA ID done today. Toodaloo!
Hey, this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Don't forget to pick up your copy of In Touch News.